Hello everyone! Welcome to a breakdown of an exclusive segment of my essay entitled Action Theory and Action Primacy. In this section, we delve into the Delayed Enlightenment and explore an intriguing perspective on how history could have taken a different, more beneficial turn. Picture this. What if the Enlightenment had occurred after the Industrial Revolution rather than before? This thought-provoking notion leads us to ponder whether the Industrial Revolution, often criticized as a mistake, might not have been entirely wrong, just rather poorly executed. As we unravel these ideas, we'll come to appreciate the importance of timing and moderation in shaping our world's trajectory. So, let's embark on this intellectual journey, carefully examining the potential implications of historical events and their interplay on our contemporary society. The notion that modern society may be inherently flawed and necessitates a fundamental transformation to address its underlying problems is gaining traction. This perspective posits that the present socio-political structure, which elevates individualism and economic growth above environmental sustainability and collective welfare, is untenable in the long run. Instead, an all-encompassing approach that acknowledges the interdependence of all aspects of life and upholds the greater good ought to take precedence. This viewpoint is rooted in the conviction that humanity's current path is unsustainable, and that society's values and institutions must be rethought to promote human flourishing and ecological health. It is a recognition that the global economic system, which perpetuates inequality and prioritizes profit over the well-being of individuals and the planet, is intrinsically flawed. This alternative view proposes a transformative shift toward a more sustainable and equitable society that values social and environmental responsibility over individual gain, and seeks to balance progress with long-term sustainability. Action theory, an original concept that acknowledges the complex nature of human relations, provides a framework for understanding the challenges of modern society and working towards a more just and sustainable future. It recognizes primarily that human behavior is shaped by both individual and collective goals and desires, and that effective communication is essential for building and maintaining all beneficial interpersonal relationships, no matter their context. Additionally, it emphasizes the importance of understanding historical and cultural contexts to appreciate the complexities of human behavior and relationships. By offering a nuanced and holistic perspective on human action, interaction, and the socio-political order, action theory provides a foundation for reimagining modern society and working towards a more just and sustainable future. The 18th century Enlightenment left an enduring and profound impact on the development of modernity, encompassing modern thought, culture, and the identity structure. The philosophical values emphasized during this epoch were fundamental to the formation of these aspects of modernity. Despite the prevalence of public and state education as a system in Europe, North America, East Asia, and other developed regions, criticisms of the Enlightenment's origins and impact have not been adequately addressed. Among these criticisms, the timing of the movement itself stands as the most significant issue that must be considered. The Enlightenment, which occurred in the 18th century, preceded the Industrial Revolution, which emerged in the 19th century. Both, however, had significant impacts on the social hierarchy of their respective time periods, and the formulation of a relatively larger and unquestionably modern social hierarchy, which has transformed a world of wheelbarrows and butter churns into modes of digital communication and mass media. If the Enlightenment had taken place after the Industrial Revolution, it is plausible to argue that the resulting society would have been much more beneficial for the average man. The advent of industrialization in Europe occurred during a period of political turmoil following the French democratization. Had this process taken place earlier, without a corresponding reform of social structures, it would have likely only temporarily exacerbated the existing inequalities in society. If developed society had first undergone industrialization, the conditions for reform would have been more favorable. The complex ethical questions that arose in the wake of industrialization in our timeline would have been more impactful, and embody a catalyst for more rapid and informed development of technology even at the minimalist level. Thus, while the idea of a delayed enlightenment may appear counterintuitive, it is feasible to conclude that it would have yielded a more just and productive society. If the Industrial Revolution had occurred prior to the Enlightenment, it would have been rapidly met with significant resistance from the peasantry, who would have borne the brunt of its negative effects. The introduction of machines and factory-based production would have displaced a large proportion of the labor force in the feudal world, then populated almost entirely by subjects of the royal order, leading to widespread unemployment among communities and food shortages. Such conditions would have exacerbated the existing social inequalities, and could have resulted in widespread demand for change at levels not adhered to in a path of gradual transformation, from republic to industrialized republic. The European monarchies would have been compelled to meet the demands of the peasantry or face the threat of extinction, ultimately leading to a more rapid and sanguine version of the Enlightenment. The emphasis on reason and scientific inquiry as it would unfold following a mass industrialization of traditionalist society would incite a much quicker resolution of complex ethical questions. In contrast to this hypothetical scenario, it is worth noting that in our world, the Industrial Revolution occurred in the context of a supposedly enlightened society that was already marked by several tentative republics, accompanied by widespread political upheaval. However, instead of serving to promote the common good, this process often complemented the interests of war machines and the oppression of the individual in the name of greater causes, such as the liberation of a specific socioeconomic class or nationality. The presence of such compelling evidence has led many to believe that the Industrial Revolution, in and of itself, was a profound mistake. However, this belief is highly controversial and challenges the modern mentality so deeply that most who adopt it fail to consider that the negative consequences of the Industrial Revolution might have been curbed had it unfolded differently, namely as part of a different sequence of events and as a catalyst for human evolution, the ultimate purpose of the human spirit, rather than as a result of rapid and largely idealistic social change. Rather than assuming that the Industrial Revolution is solely to blame for all the negative aspects of technological progress, one ought to contemplate how a different course of events might have led to a world where contemporary struggles are less concerning. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on rationality and progress, may have fostered the development of industrialization, but this obscured the social and environmental costs of these changes. The purpose of this essay is to present a novel framework that introduces a more comprehensive and nuanced perspective on human behavior and relationships, collectively named action theory.